All right, hello everybody, it's Mrs. Abraham. We're going to do some science today. We're going to learn about what scientists use. So scientists are people, just like you and me. In fact, you can be a scientist right now. I'm going to pretend to be a scientist, but you could really be a scientist by doing some of the things that I'm going to do. So scientists are people who look at things with their eyes. They use their eyes to observe. They observe things. But sometimes scientists use special tools. Today I'm wearing a lab coat. Now if you've had a chance to have the science box at your house yet, you have had a chance to wear a lab coat. I have a white lab coat. Lots of times scientists wear those. And I have these cool goggles. Look at these things. What do you think these do? Yeah, they protect my eyes. So if I was doing a messy science experiment, they would protect my eyes. I'm not doing a messy science experiment right now though. So I have all these tools over here that scientists use. We got to use some of these things in our classroom already. Do you remember this? We all used one of these one day when we were scientists and we looked around with our eyes. This is a clipboard. Scientists use a clipboard to write things down. Scientists also oftentimes use a notebook. This notebook has lots of paper in it, and scientists could use one of these special tools, a pencil, to write down their notes when they observe things. Like they could observe that the counter is white. That would be an observation, something that they see with their eyes. So a clipboard, a notebook or paper, and a pencil are good science tools. Scientists also use these. These are cool things that we got to use in our classroom. I'm going to put this one right on around my neck, and it's a really nice magnifying glass that I can look at things up close. I can look, here, I'll turn it towards you. I can look up close and it makes the letters on this page really big. Now if I was outside with one of these, I could look at the dirt, and I could look at ants, and I could look at grass. So if you have one of these at your house, you might want to ask your mommy and daddy if you can go outside later when it's nicer out and look at things outside with your magnifying glass. There's all different kinds of magnifying glasses though. We have ones that we can wear around our neck. We have ones that we hold in our hand that are big, and we look at things to make them even bigger. You can have really small ones, really small magnifying glasses. This magnifying glass, even though it's small, it really does a good job of making things look really big that we're looking at. Let's see what I can see on my counter. Not much. It's not dark. It's too light. Now this is another special kind of tool that scientists use. It's called a microscope. And scientists would put something underneath the microscope. Maybe I'll just put my finger for right now. And then they would look through it with their eyes. They would put their eyes right, it's almost like binoculars. They would put their eyes right on there and they would look through it to be able to see something really tiny. Like if you found outside, if you found a piece of dirt and you wanted to look really closely at what that dirt looked like, you could use a microscope. So those are some of the tools. Scientists also use, anybody know what these are called? These are called test tube beakers or measuring beakers. And sometimes scientists put things in here, liquids, like water, or maybe they would put in colored water in one and regular water in another, or maybe they would put oil in them and they would do some kind of an experiment. Or maybe they would add some powder like baking soda, which makes things kind of explode. So scientists might use all those different tools. And they also use books. Scientists use lots of books to learn from. This is a cool science book called Push and Pull. It talks about how you push things and how you can pull things to make them move. That's pretty funny. A dog is surfing on that one. So these are science books that scientists would use to learn about new things. Now today we're going to do some science. We're going to learn about floating and sinking. Now I wonder if you know what it means if something floats. Raise your hand if you have an idea what it means if something floats. Yeah, I think floating is when it goes on top of the water. When you have water and something can stay on top of the water. And if it sinks, then it goes down underneath the water. And it doesn't stay on the top. So floating is going on top of the water. Sinking is sinking or going down under the water. And I have a bathtub right here. And next to my bathtub I have a bunch of things. I have a water bottle, and a hockey puck, a rubber hockey puck. I have a bouncy ball. You see that ball bounce? It's a baseball, but it's a bouncy ball. Oh, I'm going to take off my magnifying glass, friends. Oh, there goes my bouncy ball. Okay, and I have a basketball that has air inside of it. This one doesn't have a lot of air, but it's a rubber basketball that has some air inside of it. Also, I have a pencil. I'm going to walk over here, my friends. I have a pencil and some rocks. I have a flat rock. See that flat rock? I have kind of a big lumpy rock. And I have a smaller rock. And the rocks, they don't all weigh the same. This one's pretty darn heavy. This one's very light. And the flat one is also pretty light. I also have a seashell from the ocean. And a Nerf bullet, because we have lots of these at my house. I have a Lego brick. And these are cool. These are Lego boats. I wonder if these Lego boats will float. This one is like a little, I don't know, little inflatable kind of a boat. And this is a bigger police boat that my boys made. I also have, we have lots of these at our house too. I know some of you do. Hot Wheels. I got a Hot Wheel. I have a piece of wood, a wood piece. And I have an empty cup. Nothing inside of it. And of course I have a boat. Like the kind you might play with at the beach. So we're going to see if all these things float. Now at home, you might want to have mommy and daddy push pause on the video. And you could go and get some paper. And you could take a look at all these things that I have. And you could be a scientist. And you could make a prediction about what things you think are going to float. Remember, floating is staying on top. And what things you think are going to sink down to the bottom. And then, after you're ready, after you make all your predictions, you could come back and watch what happens. But we're going to keep going in the video, so make sure you pause it if you want to make those predictions. Alright, I think we will start with a pencil. Let's see what happens. Now you're going to have to come closer, Eli. Let's see what happens if we put this pencil in the water. Let's see if it floats or if it sinks. Ooh, it's floating. In fact, it looks like a boat. It's moving. I think we'll try the flat rock next. Try the flat rock. Let's see if the flat rock will float or if it will sink. Oh, sunk right to the bottom. I wonder if a big fat lumpy rock will do any different. Think a big flat lumpy rock will do different? Sunk right to the bottom. Kind of made a mess in my bathtub too. Here's another rock. Here's that little rock, that real light one. Sunk right to the bottom. Now I wonder if a seashell will do any different. Here's a seashell. It's empty. It doesn't have anything in it. I'll drop it right into the water. It flipped over and it sunk right to the bottom. Now let's take a look at this Nerf bullet. What do you think this Nerf bullet's going to do? Is it going to float or is it going to sink? I'll just drop it from here and see what happens. Look, it bounced on the bottom and it came right back up and it's floating on the top. Here's my Lego brick. I'll drop, whoop, that slipped right out of my hand, but look what it's doing. It's floating. It's on the top of the water, it's floating. All right, how about if we try this empty cup? I wonder if it will be any different if it's upside down or right side up. I think I'm going to try it this way and see what happens. Well, it flipped and it's starting to fill up with water, and let's see what it's doing. It's actually barely floating but touching the bottom. Wonder what it would do now that it's full of water. Yep, it looks like it's floating. It's moving around. It's kind of sunk down a little bit below the water, but it's still floating. Now let's see what this wood block does. See what this wood block does. We'll drop it right over here. The wood block is floating. Have you ever been in a canoe? Sometimes canoes are made out of wood. and they float when we go in a canoe. So I wonder if that's kind of like that wood block. Here's a Hot Wheel. I'm going to drive it right off the ledge. Ready, set. It's sunk to the bottom. The Hot Wheel has sunk to the bottom. How about this basketball that has air inside of it? I wonder if the air inside of it will help it to float or if it will make it sink. We'll try it out. We'll just drop it right in here. And that basketball is floating on the top. So is the pencil and the wood block and the Nerf bullet on the Lego brick. And kind of the cup. The cup is a little bit. Let's see if this bouncy ball will bounce it right in. Or not. There it goes. Ooh, the bouncy ball is also floating. It's floating around in the water. How about the hockey puck? This is just a plastic one. We'll drop that in. The hockey puck is floating in the water. All right, I'm saving a couple of fun things for last. This is a water bottle. It has about halfway filled with water. See if that, now my tub isn't super full, so it might, I'm not sure what'll happen to this. We'll see if it floats or if it sinks. Tipped over. And look, the cover went under, but it is floating. It's floating in the water kind of like the wood block and kind of like the cup. Not all the way on top, but not all the way on the bottom. All right, now we have a little Lego raft, little Lego life raft. Now, who thinks this Lego life raft is going to float in the water? I think it will too. Let's try. See if he floats or if he sinks. Ooh, look. Maybe you can convince your mommy and daddy to let you make a boat, a Lego boat, and put it in the bathtub next time. That's pretty fun. It actually is floating on the water. What about this big police one? This one's quite a bit bigger than the other one, than the orange raft. I wonder if this police boat will float. We'll put it down here and try it. Still floating. Well, I think you know what your prediction is going to be for this kind of boat then. If those two boats are floating, then I'm pretty sure this boat that goes to the beach will float. Whoa, that was a loud noise. It's floating. So we have rocks that are not floating. We have shell that is not floating and a car that is not floating. And all the other stuff we tried are floating. That's a pretty cool experiment. So now you can take your paper, hopefully while I was doing all those things, you were checking off if they were floating or if they were sinking. And maybe next time you're in the bath or next time you let mommy and daddy have you get a bucket of water, you can test and see if some other things at your house float or sink. But make sure you ask permission first. I'll see you guys later. We'll do another science experiment. Have a good night. Bye-bye.